try to think, what the partner, watch, not just think, watch what the partner used to do. And after you can prepare your tactics. So again, so not necessary to go a loop or start there, second stage, third one, fourth, fifth. No, you can jump in the loop at any time. Just have to know what the partner used to do, what is your next step, what you should do. So it's not so difficult. Just have to be a very clear mind, and remember in this circle, what happens if open does do. So over this, I would like to say something. Not just think about yourself. What the partner do, and you immediately could find the proper action. What you can do against opponent action. So I don't know. So whether or not do you understand what I mean? What I wanted to say with this simple circle.
So what I've done is I've put on the next one. So the tactical circle 2.
Yes, the difference between the first one, the second one. The first one is just valid for the simple attack. Somebody just going straight ahead, opponent coming straight forward to you, what you can do. But if you imagine, if opponent makes some compound attack, example, start immediately long feint or something, or make a beat attack, or want to do engaging the blade or something, so make a long compound attack. In this situation, not necessary to taking prey. You can do immediate counter attack. Imagine you are in the piste, opponent pushing down to the from the middle en garde, ready, fast, push, going push you, chasing you, feint. What you can do, if you follow the partner blade, you want to take a prey, you lost because the partner always wants one tempo before in front of you. You may be late. But if you know, a partner doesn't make direct attack, just compound attack, just chasing, lifting the blade, moving. Not need to follow the blade, just wait, make a stop hit. So make a counter attack in the feinting, or even taking a prey, taking a beat and hit. So need counter attack. So when one fencer doing attack, defender has two choices: taking prey or doing counter attack. So the first one is a simple circle. This one, when you opponent take counter attack, this time is second loop start working. Example, attacker doing compound attack. You see, is the top. Defender doesn't take prey, do counter attack. If you know opponent always doing counter attack, what is your next step? What you should do? Second intention. Second intention is a very, very important action in fencing. So somebody always do stop hit to your hand. Go ahead and boom, stop it. All right, no problem. Just go ahead, a little bit shoulder hand, take a prey, and your counter attack is coming, and riposte is a second intention. Or if opponent know you going to do second intention, that this. Opponent may do feint counter attack. And in this situation, when you know the partner doing feint counter attack, you can do a short preparation, feint counter attack coming, stop it. So it's more simple thing. I want to do feint attack. Just imagine doing the feint to flank, head. Simple. Step forward, lunge, feint, head. If I'm moving forward with the step forward, the feint, opponent may do lunge counter attack to my head. Okay, fine. Next time, what I know, if I know opponent do counter attack to my head, moving to step forward with the feint, let the partner do counter attack, take prey and riposte is a second intention, because I know she going to do counter attack to my head. If opponent knows I going to do this, what you can, Jackie, what you can do, feint, 1, 2, feint 2, 1, 2. And if I know she going to do the feint counter attack, I'm moving toward with the feint, step forward feint. and open and start moving with the faint counter talk, immediately make a stop it and step backward. That is the counter time. So it's the most important thing. The first circle, the first one, is when the partner does pray. If the second one is a bit more complicated, when the partner does counter talk. And this circle moving around. So I don't know, is clear enough or difficult or need more explanation? What do you think? Please don't hesitate, don't feel shame. Oh, I don't understand what Laszlo say. I'm very pleased. We are here and very pleased to explain again and again until when it would be absolutely clear. Or even Beth or Stuart knows much more the explanation, and because they know the system and can explain even more clear than my explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a short description for today, because today's focus is not on the tactical circle, right? It's actually on other things. But if people don't understand, they can just get in touch with myself and Beth or Laszlo, and we can run another session for everyone where we go back over the videos. We just get Peter back out. We'll get your training video back out. Let's go back over.
But anyway, so if Beth has some video footage,
yes,
the match, and we can point out, look, guys, it was this situation. It was the second intention. It was the preparation. Open this, do that. So we can understand much more if you're watching the fencing action.
Yeah. So what I find when I look at veterans fencing, more probably women or people newer to the sport, they probably use one or two actions, and they swap between one action against the other action. So it's quite helpful in terms of these circles to understand what so there's a problem, i.e. you're getting hit with a certain action, and this is like a solution finder. So this is how I use the tactical circles. Senior men's sabre probably follow the circle much more in detail in a more logical, circular or square manner. But veterans tend to sort of use maybe 2 or 3 actions, and this helps you to understand what the solutions are for it. But what the circles don't have is distance.
Mute him, will you, Bethy? I can't. Oh no. He's just said goodbye. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Any questions in terms of that? So we will be sort of referring to this because there are people are obviously doing stuff we can relate to the circles. Oh, fancy.
Oh, very.
You see something, you think, oh, I'll just put that in for cheesiness. Okay. So tonight we're just going to go in terms of the
thing. Sorry to interrupt, but can anybody tell me how I get rid of the pictures of people down the right and stick them across the top because they're in the way of the screen? Does anybody know what I have to press?
You should be able to drag your that pane or whatever across to the side. Can you pick it up and move it to the side?
Yeah, it just goes to the other side. Oh well.
Or can you click to speaker view? There may be an option of speaker view. Or
what are you using? Is it an iPad?
No, it's a computer, old-fashioned.
Across the bottom on an iPad.
Across
You've got view options at the top right, Sylvia.
Yeah. On the computer itself, on the computer on the top right, there's a small underscore. Click that. It'll just give you a word saying who's talking. You lose the image. Look at on the top.
It's got side by side. It says zoom ratio, hide video panel, exit full screen.
Hide video panel will get rid of the images. You'll just have a full screen.
Yeah.
Done it. Thank you. Can't see anybody. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll shut up now.
No problem. Okay, so these are the things we're gonna, which we're going to try and fit into the next hour. The sort of topics we think relate much more particular to veterans fencing. So, and some of them you probably have a lot of experiences yourself. So, then what I'll do is I'll pass over to Stuart to look at the clips he has, and then I've got some clips that relate to the girls' game. But probably a topic that certainly was very particular to the World Championships or any major championships, and refereeing is one thing we all hate, probably in many ways, love and hate. It's a situation we have to deal with. But understanding how referees interpret what we do is something we really need to, in a way, understand and be prepared for. So different competitions have different levels of qualities of refereeing. So if we're looking at, say, our domestic events, British domestic events, the quality of refereeing there is very hit and miss. You know, we tend to get in maybe freebie referees, keen amateurs, maybe older referees who are retired because some of our events are on a weekday, so they can't get people who work. And so domestically, we tend to have a lot of referees who may only referee in a very certain style, such as if they were fencers themselves many years ago, they probably referee in the style of an older fencer. But as we get to a better quality level, so European Championships and World Championships, the likelihood, or it's not so much the likelihood, it will be people who are on an FIE license. So we can pretty much, we can probably be confident in the fact that they're using current interpretations of SABRE, okay?
Beth, can I interrupt for one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said FIE referees as though that's the be all and end all, but I encountered one girl at a US national competition who was an absolutely dreadful referee. Everybody in the pool agreed, and I went and asked one of the organizers why they were using a beginner referee. And he told me she was an FIE referee. And I said, well, how's that possible? Subsequent to that, she was actually banned from competitions in the US. And it turned out that she was the result of an FIE initiative to have more women referees. And she went through a weekend course in California to instantly become an FIE referee. So
wow.
just because they have the label, it doesn't necessarily mean you have that caliber.
Yeah, I've come across that myself, and obviously I was aware of that scheme with the FIE and that what they were doing, and some of our female referees benefited from that, and their quality of refereeing was, and it's not, and their quality of basically they were pushed too early, and their development wasn't very well managed because of the male. Well, I don't want it to be a female male refereeing seminar here. But they were appallingly tret. They were pushed too hard, and the system didn't work because of problems within the system. And so they were put out to the slaughter in some quite high-level competitions. And I was witness, and I heard a lot of what the conversations were when they were selecting referees. So I appreciate that, Bob, absolutely. It's a tag that, but, you know, it's a tag that the FIE do need to ensure that the quality is of a standard. And generally, I think when you get to an FIE level competition, such as World and European Championships or other, not European, so when you're zonal championships.
That's what this was, yeah.
Right, so they should be selecting, in a way, referees which are of a better standard, but we will get those situations. I know in the pools at the Worlds there was an FIE referee, and I'm sure he was a foil referee because all his decisions were based on foil style. It was foil style, but he wasn't used in the latter stages of the competition, which tends to happen with these competitions. The directoire technique will sort them out quite early. So, but it's a trend. So hopefully we can, in a way, feel a little bit more confident or comforted with the fact that the old style of refereeing, where you could renew and redouble and remise a lot, is taken over by a more contemporary version that any attack, so the attack misses, any renewals have to be in time, otherwise they won't count. So it's, so those are the things that if people don't quite understand what that means, but I think all of us who have been training in a modern sort of way, that we can see people missing their initial action, renewing, that we can actually take advantage of that. But maybe old offenders maybe don't understand that can happen, that if somebody misses, they should take advantage of it rather than going backwards again.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Something, in my opinion, is I think the FI has to go to a certain level. So before get the FI high level, the higher standard FI qualification, they has to work in lower competition, in national competition, international competition, not FI standard, just normal way. But unfortunately, I think some people get the FI qualification too quick, too early, without any practicing level. So it's very hard to, example, somebody go to the course, learn the regulation rules by heart, and knows everything, and exams pass. It's fine. But when and even we make a mock test, still use the correct words, attack, counter-attack, shoulder side. But if get in the situation, in a harsh situation, when really the atmosphere is very tense, people shouting around, maybe confused and completely lose everything. So I think the best would be if this kind of novice FI, even if you get a qualification to FI standard, should put a lower level first and let the person practice a little bit, get more confidence, have to learn to deal with the situation, even the tense of people shouting behind him and the FA on the fences arguing against. So it's very easy to be confused if you're not certain and not confidence. Certainly this FA should be the same situation, has no confidence, never been a really hard situation, and completely lose the balance, and she didn't know what has to do. So I think the FA have to go through to the way and the pathway to getting higher, and accept more hard competition. So I think my opinion is they should learn the job as well from beginning to end.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want this to turn this into a refereeing, in a way, debate. The situation with female referees being developed was something that was happening probably about 10-15 years ago, I think. Maybe it may be different in other areas, but it's where we can I think their development system is starting to get a little bit better, but I've certainly seen better level of referee, better understanding of the current rules at the higher level competitions that we have. So as fencers, we need to understand whether we are using old style actions and then wondering what's happening, or but this is a great opportunity to recognize how old style actions are failing, and we need to understand how we can take an opportunity into new styles, such as making people miss and attacking back, and how you can attack in preparation again. So attacking in preparation is where the person wants to take that extra step, wants to take a longer attack, and then you can stop them in the middle of that. So it does require an understanding of tempo, understanding of the footwork involved in it as well. So these are the things we're going to, in a way, hopefully cover tonight. I don't want to capitalize on the situation too much. So Stuart, do you want to?
Want to go to my men's saber?
Yeah, so if you want to share, if I stop mine somehow. So I'll stop my broadcast.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let me just cue mine up. All right. So this is the men's saber final from Cairo.
Yeah.
For those in the know, this is the 70 plus category. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we'll just watch the first part, and then I'll talk a bit about actions, movement, what's good, what's bad, blah blah, and especially from like it's very different to the senior level or junior level. There's just I know Beth said you're not subpar athletes, blah 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 blah. Okay, but we do have to recognize there are limitations with our experience, right? As we gain more experience, we become more limited in some other ways, and there are some actions that are going to work better and some that are just not going to work. I mean, we're not going to suggest that you do an active defense for 14 meters like Aldo Montano down the back of a piste. That's useless, right? So we'll have a look at what's going on. Okay. So I think probably better, a nice start is to actually watch Camino, the Italian guy on the left, to watch his preparations. Look how balanced he is, how small his steps are, and how he can control the fight from that. Yeah.
In fact, we're lucky enough to have the order for this match here. The C fencers go up first, and then it's the A fencers.
Everything nice and small in control.
Followed by the B fencers.
All right. Parry plus is nice. He's trying the same hits. So here, Camino is trying again for the attack on preparation. But I think one of the dangers with attack on preparation is the leg speed and strength degrades faster than the hand speed, right? I think everyone can agree on that. So maybe compared to when you were young, your arm is like 90% the same speed it was when you were a kid. But your leg speed, well, a bit slowing down. So maybe that's an opportunity that we can exploit for slow pushing and taking counter parries.
Physical training coach.
Maybe later.
He says he mainly coaches basketball players.
Yeah, I had heard that, and he is very athletic. Remember, this is C category fencers over the age of 70. Actually, when he comes forward, his technique is very, very tight, but when his arm goes, it really does.
His mistiming, he's all right, I'll do that, but he's too late.
This is one of our regulars, but he's not here, is he? So I can't praise him. I can't praise him for his work here.
He did contact me today, Stuart. Italians can start training now, so he's
off training.
Right. You should have told him he was going to be featured, then he'd show up.
Appeal to his ego.
Exactly.
I'm gonna share him he wants the video after this, so
okay. Okay, so he's going to hear this. The only thing I would say is I think that his lead knee is too far over his lead toe. Okay. Mm-hmm. So actually, he's found a way to compensate for this with the first two shuffly steps he takes. His preparation is different to Camino's preparation, but it's still very small. It gives him control over his body. And only once does he actually get into trouble from coming forward too fast. But,
oh no, what a shame. We get back underway here.
Yeah, everything's nice and small.
Up for this, having the scoreboard rolled on accidentally through that second fight, which is why they had to come back on and fix it. But just going back to that, and I know you want to talk about the fencing, but early stages here, the community of veterans fencing is growing.
So it's nice to see it really, really growing.
And worldwide as well. It's not just in the sort of the European
that attack was all right.
Fencing. It's around the world. This Japanese team of absolutely fantastic. I've seen teams from South America here that I don't think I've seen at senior level. There's a team from Bolivia here. I mean, it's phenomenal.
In fact, the British were cursing, in a sense, what's been in the world, because Hong
catches him
Kong
easy that time, right? So,
and Korea are,
but everything is
China
based off his
putting
economy of
in
motion of
first-class
his
issue in
first few
football,
steps.
because it means.
Okay, so these
The
guys.
narrator is Richard Cohen. Richard.
Yeah, Richard's one of the guys talking. Yeah,
I recognize his voice.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, you can see the 50 plus is there's more lunging, there's more dynamism than the 70 plus, right? So, but still, some of the things that we've been saying, the truisms are right? The preparation is small. He gets a nice push on his legs, basically trying to stay steady
A bit more sympathetic.
and hit.
Yes.
Okay, when we're talking about understanding modern refereeing, I know we diverted into a massive discussion of good and bad refs, but really what we meant to say is, if you're going to go to the World Championships, you need to be prepared for referees who apply the current trends in saber refereeing, okay? Now these change almost every year, a little bit, right? So you have to be on top, right? You can see Priers there, as this fight goes on, he has no clue what is going on. He just doesn't seem to understand what the ref's giving. And he just makes the same mistake again and again and again, okay?
And also tell you that Enrico studies the refereeing before you go. We talked about that once at dinner. He's totally focused on how the referees react.
So what does that teach us for what we need to work on in the salle, right? Some of it is actually watching fights, learning how the referees work, maybe even talking to the refs. But yes, yeah, because Enrico does a good job of just doing what the ref allows him to do.
5-1 to the Italians.
His first step is a little more aggressive, a little earlier.
Antinoro, who is been waiting in the wings to come on.
Okay, so now this is another thing that I'm going to talk about, is putting different types of footwork into your system. So Enrique here goes into a kind of hybrid between épée footwork and classical European saber footwork, and maybe what we would call K saber, the Korean saber. He sort of does half steps, he sort of does bounces, right? He doesn't really want to get too close, and he doesn't really want to use too much energy. So he's just waiting,
ready for
hitting.
3 in
it's
a
very
row
nice
from him.
Rather than trying to do the same kind of footwork you used to do when you were 20. It's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to hold that distance, especially not over an entire day or an entire fight, right? So some of it is about accurate footwork, and some about taking your time, making sure you're not falling over, powering forward from your hips and not your upper body, so you're not falling.
Seems to me he tried to, when he moving, waiting for the counter-attack. But after I lied off the first second move, no counter-attack, after start to accelerate and finish the action.
Yes, but how did he do it? By being in control of his feet. So he's got all the time in the world to see everything. So exactly what you taught me, Lotsabachi, exactly what you taught me. Mm-hmm. If you have a good distance, you can see everything, right?
Yeah.
So into this at some point in the next.
He's just nice and
matches,
calm.
Otherwise, it's all going to run away like it did in the bronze medal match.
Well, the German here, when Germany fenced America in the semi-final, America was well ahead, and the German here, who I know well,
someone's not clear on
the first
current modern refereeing.
He transforms the whole match.
So, I mean, the main problem is now he's got no way back. He doesn't really understand what's going on, so he can't build a way out of it.
10-3 or 10-4.
And he has to do something, come forward or go back.
It was a very nice second intention.
That's a beautiful hit, yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
Very clever, very clever.
Yeah, because he knows his opponent's got to do something. His opponent's got to either come at him or go back. He can't wait and try to finish on him because it's never worked. So it's very, very smart, very smart. Okay, so we're back to 70 plus. Although, Bob, you'll be able to tell me a bit more. Camino maybe is like an exception in the 70 plus category, right?
Exactly. He's a physical trainer. He coaches basketball. He used to play on the Olympic team for Italy in basketball.
Yeah, so he's still very strong.
Yeah, he does all the training at the veteran training camp in Italy. He leads it.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, he's doing all the things right. He's not attacking with his upper body. He's not falling over. He's keeping his legs in nicely in position. He's got nice small footwork. So he's able to do when he sees the opportunity to hit.
Stepping in, bringing the arm back.
That's right. And
He's able to reach in.
Camino is so good at timing the counter-attack.
Yeah, multiple phases.
Block out from the German left-hander though. Oh, now why
And then I
is he
don't know what
stopped
happened here. Does anyone know the story of that hit?
Maybe crossover. I didn't watch it.
Because no one seems to know. That they stopped the fight for 5 minutes. Okay, never mind. There's no hit there.
Maybe just
Parry riposte, really nice compound riposte.
Again, I
as
mean,
well.
everything's based off balance, right? The attacks aren't so big and aren't so powerful. So
classy hit from Carmina, but
attack no.
Prekdal comes
Attack
back out.
touche.
Oh, this is a team match, right?
Oh yeah. Yep, easy. Multiple hits.
That was a beautiful hit.
good counter-attack.
It was short.
Unfortunately, no. Actually, it was a terrible counterattack. It was straight in the gut, but now you can have a poll, Bethy. Where's the contact on the blade? Top third, middle third, bottom third.
Very close to the guard.
Very yes, but the referee still gives it to him.
That was a beautiful hit.
So,
Camina's
Why is that?
short.
sorry?
Why is that? That can be really random because some people will give it because they can see the action, even though it's in the wrong place on the blade. It's a parry, but then he's given it as a beat, essentially.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, video. This is what your video appeal is for.
The referee awarded the.
I have often seen referees give you that just because your intention was very clear. And
Yes, exactly. It was very good intention, just
Yes,
bad
it was-
execution.
Yes,
Bad
it was
execution.
fantastic and smart and clever, yes. Because the other times he'd gone backwards, this time he didn't go backwards, he stayed. He makes it, yes, it's I'm not saying it's not a very smart move. I'm just saying it was smack into the guard.
The idea was good.
The idea was very good, yes. So you also have to work on knowing when you should use your video replays. Right? When is it right to use it? And when is it right to use it tactically to get yourself more time?
I suspect in that particular one, the German was a little bit confused by the blade action that didn't work for him. And then he saw the intention of Ricardo and he just, okay, whatever. And he didn't even think about the video. I don't think he,
coach.
Okay, yeah, I don't think the German fencer actually noticed it was that low. He just saw the parry back and that was it. He just sort of reacted. But I agree the German coach should have said something.
Yeah, but I think it's actually Frederica who's helping them out. So.
Oh, really?
She's not that experienced, but yeah, you see her on the piece sometimes. But
yeah, I know.
Anyway,
oh, that's right. She was coaching. You're right.
Anyway, she needed to be doing something. That's her job. That's your teammate's job. So if you're in a team, some of your job is to help the other guy know when they should make their video calls, right? That's actually some of your teammates' jobs. That's some of your coach's job, right? So remember, when you're on as a team, you're not the only one who's on as a team, right? There's lots of you.
Did a beat cut.
Going into the closed line there, Carmina, that time. I can't help but remind people that these are athletes over the age of 70. I don't think if we told people.
I like the way Carmina takes his time here.
With their mask on, you would
Sets
never
himself
know.
up.
No.
Stunning stuff.
And barely moved his feet anymore.
Really.
Yeah. It's all, everything is based on balance and good timing.
The Germans are guessing parries, and the Italians are too good to fall for that.
Right.
Bit half-hearted there on that one.
Luckily for our Italian friend there, he hasn't taken a long step, so he's able to make a block out.
Well, it's a bit of
the Germans into his attack too soon.
hit. But when you're winning, you get the luck.
Save again.
So this time it's the other way around. He's getting good counterattacks in. Not that time.
Just a slow start from Ras there, just opening up and letting the Italian close the distance.
But again, all based on balance and economy of motion.
But this gap is, well, insurmountable. It would be
this
the
is nice active defense, hold the guy back.
Sports if the Germans were to take this match.
And that's just a beautiful
blade picked up for me by Ras, but into the bottom third, so defaults to a parry.
I don't listen to the commentary.
Yes, if you
that beat was directly in the forehead.
Trying to do a beat
that was a fantastic hit.
It counts as a.
if we go back and just have a look at, because this is going to be some of the stuff we talk about.
It would be the comeback.
Okay,
of all
not everyone
sports-
can be
all
so balanced,
sports
right?
if
Blah
the
blah. Because
Germans
not
were to take this
not everyone's
match.
that strong. But once he's got the beat, he's so steady.
Comebacks of all sports if the Germans were to take this match.
There, he's got the beat there. He's so steady. Boom.
Blade
Right.
picked
No
up
going
for me
backwards,
by
no nothing.
Ras, but into the bottom third.
Just
so
finish.
default-
Yeah, but the German did take an extra step into it, so he didn't have to really.
Yes, but yeah, and Massotti, he waited for him. He waited for him and put it
I
on.
can say this.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful timing.
And in development, I mean in inverted commas, but the current ethos in.
You've just seen the first
well.
counter-pass in this match from the German.
Yeah.
No, he got hit by
The
that
German
one. Yeah,
choosing
okay.
the right line to parry.
It was a good. It was a good action. He killed in a bit, got a good parry.
Can we see one more dissection? Stu, is it
Yeah,
possible
yeah,
to watch? Can I?
Again, Batch, again.
Yes, yes, I would like to see.
Pass in this match from the German. The parry.
Right. Coming
I
right
can
up.
say this to you. Risks versus development, and
Yeah.
it's and in development, I mean in inverted commas, but
I would say something. The German guy did a very clever thing because he previously highlighted there's a Italian guy always with test play go to the head.
Mm-hmm.
He intentionally went to the test and take play intentionally to queen because he knew that his usual impulse go to Ter's head, and maybe intentionally challenge him, cut the test and take play post and take a play and do the counter post. It was very good. I think it was very clever second intention action. It's not accident. It was very cleverly worked out. It was very good action.
Yep. And also he doesn't allow his arm to chop through, which is what allows him to make the counter
First
parry.
counter-pass in this match from the German. The German choosing the right line to parry.
well, it is Paul Priest back on. Yeah, the debate for development and purity in fencing will, I think, remain forever and a day.
Again, he just yeah. There was no way that wasn't an attack counter attack. But
Or Antonoro.
Again.
And again, there's no way it's not attack counter attack. Yeah,
Unlike the
absolutely no way
Italians,
it's not.
he's just mistiming it.
But
can't understand it. Well,
I think when you start, you have to know something in your head. He two times start without any idea. Two times start with any idea. But the first was hesitation, is wrong. But second time did the opposite the same mistake. Move forward a little bit, wait. Italian guy did counter attack. So it was a typical action when could see was no any in his mind. Just move forward, but without any think. So that's why I get two quick hit, very silly hit in a row.
Yeah. But I think these ones are based as Bob said on Enrico's knowledge of the referee and Priest's non-knowledge of the referee and the current fencing. He just doesn't know what to do, and Enrico's on top of him. So these hits are already won before they stepped on the feast, I think.
The Italians, he's just mistiming it.
Because the preparation is just so much better.
Well,
and here we see another example of a kind of lazy kind of footwork, which is very good. Active with the hand, nice and solid with the feet.
Lovely distance.
And also the body movement. He's stepping backwards and throwing his body forward to try and get the German to finish.
Very nice.
Really clever stuff.
Get the German to commit.
Counter riposte is no.
And this one, he's not patient enough.
Be a real issue.
Attack going through.
Well, the German knew where it was going. He just didn't get the right parry.
I think the play is wrong because he doesn't stand on his leg.
Yes, his balance is all over the shot.
Always standing up and lose the balance.
Yeah, we go back and look at that one, but it's basically. I mean, I know you can hear Richard saying he knows which parry to take, but he's completely off balance.
The German knew which.
There's no way he's going to take that parry.
Yeah.
All right, this guy's got the push on him. There we go. Balance is all right.
Counter riposte is no.
Meant to be a real issue.
Yeah.
Attack going through.
Again, stand up like this.
Counter riposte.
Yeah,
is
hold on
no.
a second. I'll try to.
Meant to be a real issue.
Yeah.
Just look at his leg.
I think that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
No, there's no way he's going to take it. He doesn't even have the edge turned to the incoming blade.
Yes.
Incoming blade.
Near the back edge.
Yep.
So German knew which
he's beaten
way it was
always
going,
up there.
Didn't get the right parry. Not properly formed.
Yep.
Execution letting him down on that case, but there,
just
a
patience.
single light. Italy are the world champions of the men.
So there's nothing there's nothing groundbreaking there, right? But there are bits we can take out, like what hits you can do and what hits you can focus on and move on, and what you should work on in training. Those bits I've actually got in a document. Well, I'll send you all, and maybe we'll talk about them once Bethy's finished talking about the ladies' side of things. But basically, balance, not going too fast, right? Because as soon as you lose control, you can't get it back. Okay, if you're pushing, like a lot of the Germans have got their upper body forward, once they've missed, there's no coming back for them. It's done. Whereas the Italians are more up. Okay.
Can I just ask a question about, do the referees have briefings about looking at specific things? Because I find some of my experiences, sometimes they seem to be concentrating on kind of feet, other times they're looking purely at hand coming out first. Is there kind of a theme that they talk about first?
There should be a referee briefing before every tournament.
Right.
Now there was a time when one of the American guys was allowed to record what happened in the referee's briefing, and then was allowed to push that against hits that happened in the. But that only happened once. I don't think they allow other people into that. But yes, I believe that they have a meeting where they talk about how they're going to penalize false starts, for example. Or,
okay.
You know, is it straight yellow, guys? We're at the veterans. Calm. Right? Give a warning and then go, right? Or if they're at a senior World Championships, okay, any false start, please out with the card, right? And how much recovery is allowed back and before renewal is allowed on. I believe so, yes. I mean, I know they have meetings and talk about it because I've actually had to organize them when I was in Singapore, but they do have them. And I also know that the referees talk to each other outside tournaments. Right, so I don't know if any of you have seen the chats I've been having with my friend Mez Heisko, who's in Sweden, but he's a GP4 referee. And they're constantly texting each other and talking to each other. And in fact, some world-class fencers are actually texting or sending videos to the GP referees asking them, is this an attack or is this not an attack? Right, so everyone's constantly talking, trying to understand what's going on. Yeah, but yeah, I think you can see the need for understanding what's going on in the in the Enrico versus the bigger German gentleman. He just has no way of fighting back. He just doesn't have a way of doing it. Okay, do you want me to go with my document, Bethy, or do you want to do your?
We'll use that as the end because I think it summarises things extremely well.
Excellent.
That last
Excellent.
screen that people can view. So so what I've done is slightly different, and the way my videos might not be able to go backwards and forwards as well as Stuart's. It's just how we do this. I'm just going to share my other screen. Okay, I'm just. Sorry, it's just. Right, okay. So one of the things that sometimes comes across in certain age groups, obviously sometimes physicality is one of those things that you see patterns, but one of the things is certainly particular to women's sabre is relatively new to fencing. So as an international event, women's sabre was a full World Cup event at senior level in 1999. So I suppose in a way, and a credit to me. I was an old senior fencer, but I've been part of senior fencing for probably one of the longest times. Myself and Tansmeister are certainly that, and that sort of says something for what we can do. So a lot of the fencers in women's sabre have probably come from other weapons, so foil and épée. So there'll be things that they do which are familiar to foil and épée. Actions such in épée, they're very good at long lunges, attacking, counter-attacking, finding little gaps in their forward target and the forearm. So if you do any broken time attacks, any compound attacks, fencers who come from an épée background are very devilish in being able to catch you out if you do compound actions. But they tend to do actions just at lunge distance, so they find their distance and then just lunge. They tend not to do long accelerated or broken acceleration attacks. Foilists, again, tend to like to use their point a lot, but they do like actions in set lunge distance. So long trample attacks at different rhythms are not usual to those who come from a foil background. So the development of women's sabre in veterans show a sort of a mixture of foil and épéists. So this first one I'm going to show is the fact that these two fencers can't really can't use the cutting action, so they haven't really trained with a sabre using different cutting actions. So if I just hopefully play this one. So I think this is category 3.
Yes.
So what you're seeing in that little clip is two people just trying to find a distance, coming in close, and then just doing stuff. They found a distance there, but they came up with a simultaneous action.
Yeah, Corinne is an épéist.
Yeah,
she fences all 3 weapons.
But I think her foundation weapon is épée, or another weapon to sabre. And this is where the tactical wheel is useful, because if you understand that they come from a different weapon, they will have characteristics within their actions that you can utilize and develop a strategy for. So this is what I tend to observe or understand where they have come from, and I can sort of tell you look more like an épéist or a foilist, and then I develop my process, my preparation, my strategy to so second intention actions, basically, to draw out what they fundamentally like doing. So I'll just see if I can repeat.
You're a devil, Bethy. That's
I am a devil, yeah. You've got to prepare for these things.
It's either mean or smart, one of the two, mate.
Yeah, but don't bank on it.
No, absolutely. Every opponent, I know, Sue, we're building up for this awesome fight. Every fight is you have to respect your opponent massively, because if they do things so naturally at certain distances, and I go in, or I'm too complex, and they can just shut their eyes and hit me without even thinking about it. And sabre is cruel in that sense. All you need to get is that tiny touch, a third of a second quicker than what you've done, and then you'll soon start to panic, because their reactions are different to yours if you've trained in a sabre way. So you have to understand the other weapons, I think, if you approach things intelligently. But you can also, if you understand what they do, you can prepare for it. Absolutely. So again, I'll just show this, if this clip plays again. So this is where two people from a different weapon, they just come close, flash, 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 flash. And then at some point they hit. And then the next one, I think they start to understand what that distance is, and they just go for a simultaneous. So for me, my strategy would be, I'd be going in, drawing out whatever action that is, and then making them miss and then hitting, because their understanding of making somebody miss and then hitting is alien to them. I'm just hoping that the referee will understand that situation. So that's confidence in my referee in doing that. So in veterans, it's I think you will come across some excellent quality other weapon specialists in sabre. So as a female sabre approaching championships where I know I'm going to be competing against this sort of group of people, my strategies have to build in that, and my preparations have to draw out certain things. Let's see what the next one is. So the next one was, again, on Stuart and I's conversation, was about old style rules. So in, I think, 1992, so women's sabre was still a mixed sport. So us girls had to fence the boys, which I thoroughly enjoyed, because the mental game was, I love beating boys. So women love beating men. I think men, you've got to get over that fact. We just want to beat you. And it's very satisfying, but we have an excuse for losing as well. Because, okay, you've given us that opportunity. Your misogynistic way of putting us down is in our bag now. So we know that.
Here.
So that happens. So we have excuses. But it's this thing of where, yeah, so in 1992, that's when in the UK women were part of the, but also the change in the rules of crossover. So the crossover, I think, was banned in 1992. I think after the, Laszlo, you might know this, was...
I'm thinking, but I go my mind when was stopped.
Well, think about this in ways that Zabo Benser, could Zabo Benser in Barcelona Olympics cross over, or was it banned after Barcelona?
It was banned after that.
Yeah,
I thought it was 96.
Yeah, it was something more like that.
Barcelona, no, wait. Barcelona is not. Barcelona is 92. With 88 was Seoul, 92 Barcelona.
Yeah, so 92 was crossover was allowed, and then I think, yeah, was it Atlanta in 96? It was banned or something. But obviously for the male sport, I don't think this is going to affect female sabreurs because they've been trained not to cross over. But for other weapon specialists, so if they're a foilist or an epéist, crossover is possible. So if they're trying to do multi-weapons, you have to learn not to cross over. But for older fencers, crossover was definitely part of it. So this is a clip of, okay, it's a man's clip, and we've probably seen it. I don't think we've seen this one. Yeah, because he's American.
Yeah.
He looks at the referee like what? That was all right, wasn't it?
I fenced Richard several times, and it's quite common for him to do this and then look at you in a dazed trance. What are you talking about?
Again, if you're sort of understanding that they've come from another weapon that crosses over, and then in a way they like crossover, or that they're an older sabreur who used to just run at you, techniques to try and draw that crossover you could do. It's very risky. But you can draw it out, but being aware of it so you can bring it up to the referee. And this is what I was doing in our match with Germany in the end. And because I think a crossover was given. The German did a crossover, and I think it was given, or it was closely given. It's useful to keep an eye on that happening.
Did you ask for the assessor, the foot judges? The
Yeah, judges? It was a bit drawn out in the end because it was Jenny Morris who was fencing. It wasn't her who did the crossover. I just said, Jenny, you need to get a referee. But I think, Michelle, you might remember this. I was sort of saying, try and get a video, but Jenny didn't know what was happening, and I think eventually we asked for video. But in a way, the moment's lost, and I don't think we actually.
Yeah. I think we could be much better actually at planning when we ask for video calls, because we're not very good at it in terms of the fencer's really engrossed and doesn't think about it.
So that's something we can improve on as a if we know that video is going to happen, we can set those little things in place. So either in our head, we prepare for it in our heads as an individual, but as a team, we can, work as a team. So the person fencing doesn't have to think of it too much. Okay, so the next one is with Jenny Morris. So this isn't the crossover situation, because it doesn't really show it brilliantly, but this is where, if we just watch it.
Make sure that her equipment was working. Britt's very patient in her attack.
There's a situation where the
2-0 lead.
Good pause.
So just somebody starts their attack, and they just go at the same speed, and they're just waiting for you to do a mistake, and that's what the other person did. So if we just play it again, it's a short clip.
Sure
so the German hesitates. Jenny rightly takes it up. The German gets to a point where she panics.
Britt's very patient in her attack and finishes.
Correctly.
Take a 2-0
But for
lead.
Jenny, that was great. But all Jenny is doing, waiting for something. So as a fencer who is faced with that situation where somebody's just trundling forward, waiting for a reaction from you, that's where you can control that reaction. So one of the tactics, certainly I've used in the past, is where you break your footwork up. You provide a stop. So you stop, which is quite a scary moment, because when you stop, you create a moment for the fencer to think, I'm in distance. And if they're an épéiste, or if they're an épéiste, they'll just lunge. If they're foilist, they'll probably step lunge. So just step backwards, or 2 steps backwards and make them miss, or take that parry. But you're controlling that button. So it's a second intention. It's understanding what the triggers are for those who are doing that type of thing.
I mean, you can see that, although I said the Italian men use a kind of more bouncy sort of épée style, right? Jenny, she just makes tiny steps, right? She just pushes. And her opponent does nothing. Jenny just holds a distance. Boom.
Yeah, so if you don't control your footwork as a defender, if you go back, your opponent's going to go forward. If you go back again, your opponent's going to go forward again. You are, in a way, controlling them. But if you don't do anything in terms of active defense or breaking your footwork to make them finish what they do, otherwise you just run out of distance or you panic counterattack. So you have control over the situation as a defender as much as you have as an attacker. Right, the next one. Hey, Sylvia. Sylvia around. And I think I put her on mute. Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, that's cruel.
Sylvia, can you mute yourself?
If I must.
There you go. Well done. So, so Sylvia, she was a great part of this team, and the first action is something you did get caught upon, but then you didn't panic, and then you did what you needed to do. So I'll just play it. So the first one, you went for something in the middle, you saw a hesitation, and then it didn't quite work, but then you active defense, and then your blade constantly hassled that poor woman. And you got so you didn't just trundle back, and now you can, and this is where your preparation there, the other person panicked and you were prepared because of your footwork to take that parry. And now she wants to come forward, and then you catch her. But where you catch her is quite interesting. Oops. So so the use of the piece, I think, is a very important part of this fight. So the first hit is where you make an action in the middle. It didn't quite work. And then your second one, you make a good action, a successful action at the back of the piece. So you changing areas of the piece has been a great one here. So that happened in the middle, but no problem. That'll make the person come out forward, but you're ready for your active defense. And you're on your 2 meter line. And then she wants to finish in the middle because she doesn't like going backwards.
Looks like second intention.
Yeah.
And then you're going back again, but then your full action is before your 2 meter line. So she possibly felt, oh, I'm going forwards, and I got hit on the 2 meter line, but maybe thinks that she can carry on, you know, I'm okay. But then you hit her because she's stepping forward because she thinks she can carry on. So using the piece can help, you know, actions be successful by controlling these sort of, I call them hit zones. So changing from forward to backward, you'll see patterns in people. So any reflections on that, Sylvia?
Only that you say that poor unfortunate woman who hates me so much. I can remember thinking I was cross with myself because I lost 2 hits to her, and I think she only got 4 hits on me in the whole thing, and I'd had her in the DE when I'd beaten her quite comprehensively. And so I was cross that I lost two hits there, I must admit. I got it wrong. I wasn't ready. And I really think that on the first hit, I wasn't ready. And that's important for me always to actually be ready. Yeah.
Can I
woke you up a bit?
Can I ask a question? When you fence her, she never went back.
No, she is a very attacking fencer.
Really? Because when I fenced her in the Europeans, she just went back. Am I that frightening?
Did you beat her, Sue?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe why she doesn't go back anymore, mate.
Yeah, I think maybe she'd seen you win the épée or something.
No, because the sabre was first. But the Germans don't like fencing me.
Enjoy it.
So use it.
As long as you're focused up, then you could use it.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, this was a good example of active defense. Yeah. The first hit failed, but it's not panicking. It's really concentrating on what the next hit is, and different zones of the piece. So zones of the piece can sometimes have consistent types of action, or changing from one zone, so transitioning from one zone to another zone. So you're controlling where hits happen, or how there's a commonality where hits can happen. And so people think they can move into a zone because they were fine last time, but then you stop them and hit them into preparation. Is a good way of changing your tactics.
I think you can really see a difference between Sylvia's defense and her effect on her opponent, and Jenny's hit, right, where she just trundled forward and her opponent did nothing, and it was easy. Whereas Sylvia just kept, come on, parry, no, counterattack, no, parry, no, oh, finish, bam, right, just making it really difficult for the other person.
I think also, I mean, when you go to, as you say, Beth, you have to realize we go back quite a long way. I beat Brigitte many years ago when I had no knowledge of sabre. I was very new to sabre. I didn't know anything about sabre, to be honest. I really didn't. And I was up against Brigitte in I don't know what it was, a Worlds or something like this, and I beat her. And so that one at that time was totally unexpected for her, and it rankled. And I think she holds that still. And consequently, I've met her in several team competitions when England had been fencing Germany. And then she beat me quite a few times, I think, in team matches, you know, when the Germans were really strong in the team competitions. And so on that particular day that we were fencing in the team match, you've got all that back history, you've got a backstory there as well, where I knew that she would be really coming for me in this third match of the day for me and her. She would really be all out to even it up and reclaim, you know, her position, etc. And so I was more, okay, bring it on. It was all right. It was okay for me. So it's all that stuff comes into it, doesn't it, as well?
Absolutely, and we could probably hold a complete new session on how to fence grudges.
Also, talking about grudges, are you sure that England fenced Germany?
Yeah,
or is it Britain?
Grudges do have a bearing onto it. You know, it's how you deal with those
because
grudges,
me and Laszlo McYakub are a bit upset.
Well, Viv is Scottish.
So it's how we absorb that and how we fuel our passion and our preparation. But we have to also take, you know, we have to be trying to get through these grudges that use their anger and want to beat us and into a calm situation. It's very challenging. Every match against Germany is always fueled like this, more so than any other match. I suppose we just meet them so often, and the next character, we can't. You know, I hate watching myself as much as anybody, but I have to face myself every now and again if I know I'm going to be better. But I've not got a championship tomorrow, so I'm not bothered about watching crap fencing. But this match, I wanted to use this match, apart from it's the one that we won the actual championship with. So that was good, you know, in a confident sort of sense. But I think I fenced the match probably the most intelligently all day. I wasn't happy with my fencing generally. But with this one, it was a grudge match. She beat me at the European Championships. I think some of her actions weren't hers, but we didn't have video refereeing. And I didn't handle it very well at the Europeans. I just thought, oh, well, I'm quite happy with the bronze, and that's not me at all. And she's just not a nice person, so this is where grudge fencing comes in, definitely. So you have to deal with these politics on, and if you notice my body language, I just don't entertain. I just look away, or I'm thinking about something nice, or I'm thinking about something, a music in my head, just to not get involved in her. I'd rather let her have a meltdown than me. So my body language shows that, and that's what was going through my head. And if you see her body language, you can see her getting very frustrated. And I thought, well, that's strength to me. She's getting frustrated, and that means I know I'm beating her in a match, and I'm beating her psychologically. So that's really important to my game. Also, this match is quite classically German. I've watched German fencing for a long time, certainly in cadet and juniors and in veteran. They follow a forward-backward system, an attack-defense system. So they'll use an attack preparation and finish attack, or go in and go out and try and make you fall short, or go attack and defense. So if you know where you are on that tactical wheel, you can best prepare for it. And I think that's why I like this as a fencing match for me, because I did understand that. But the first hit for me was wrong, because I didn't know what she was doing, because it was the first hit. But then after that, I recognized it. Okay, so if I play there.
It will have to be a miraculous comeback.
She wasn't happy about her name not being on the board either, or she was not having a good day.
Federica Remus is on, and there's now a question mark over the score, I believe.
So as you see, I'm just not getting involved in anything outside this 14 meters.
Where there was like a 15-touch run in the middle of the bout to change it.
Yes.
So I went in and she attacked him. She was on defensive situation there.
Ready and made a nice,
so now she'll be in attack.
That attack.
So I caught her on preparation because I knew she was going to attack.
She brings herself.
Now she's just fannying about.
Winning the gold.
That's good though, right? She's doing the right thing.
But you can see the level of these two fencers.
Now she'll go on defense.
They're moving much quicker than the others.
Yeah, she went in to sort of, and I didn't respond to it.
The youngsters, the children of the team.
Nice parry post there by Davidson.
She was giving it last time, but I took the beat this time.
The gold medal, her and the rest of her team. There's.
I didn't think she got that. I thought I reprised quicker.
Hesitations on the arm
but
movement.
yeah.
Lovely parry riposte on the back
So
line.
this was a situation where I took a big fat beat, but it was quite low in the guard, and she knew it, and so she was whinging about it. I tried to sell it to the referee, and he did give it to me. I'd sold it, but they did watch it and saw that I did a low beat, which was fair enough. But again, if you look at my body language, it's not explaining anything. The result is the result.
Yeah, she definitely didn't.
But she's sort of, she's chomping her gums at everything.
She keeps her foot inside the piece, so it's not a question of finishing the action outside of the remit of the 15-meter piece.
No, I think that they were looking for was, did she hit before the parry?
Yep.
I think that's what she was asking for.
But again, in terms of this, if you know video refereeing is on, you have to prepare for these long moments. The tactical wheel changes when you've got a disruption like this. So if you're building hit upon hit and expecting something to follow each other for attack or defense or whatever, it changes when there's a disruption. So if you had an idea before the video call, it's changed now.
Changed it. It was a great call from the German.
So you have to sort of reset yourself from this point in time. But she's chomping her gums so much, I don't really care. She's all over.
They have the wrong name up there now, so they didn't change when they made the substitution. They didn't change the name on the scoreboard.
To be fair, they haven't been doing that throughout.
And that was mine. I didn't get given.
Wow, that's a bit of bad refereeing.
All simultaneous there.
This time, Janssen decides not to call
Very
video.
close there, and
So that's where she wanted to attack, and now she probably wants to defend.
Touches of the gold.
Yeah, there we go.
From the British.
The German is.
Well, a referee seemed to call that she presented the line as she was coming forwards and then pulled her arm back.
Withdraws the line.
Now she'll want to attack.
In my opinion, the Brit didn't take over, and then she just took off with a reprise of the attack. She had line, she broke it, but the British fencer didn't do anything. She just kind of waited there. So I'm a little surprised at that. And well, she didn't have a video to use. So
well, opening.
That's where she went out and come back in to try and make me react.
Open the door for Beth.
So that's where she was trying to trigger me to finish my action. But it didn't work. I was, you know,
world champions here in the women's team.
She was under more pressure than me at that moment in time. Right, I'll just stop broadcast. Okay, so so some of the points in that was use of the piece, use of other weapons, and how it creates some fundamental actions you can sort of anticipate and prepare for. These second intention triggers, so where you go out and come back in again to try and trigger a finish of action, are useful things to do. Gentian tried to use it on me, but in a way I was under less pressure, so I was able to see what she was doing better.
Beth, can I ask something? I'm not updated with this. Why do you fence only 30 hits? Which only 6 both, isn't it? Why just 6
Yeah, it's 2 bouts each. So it's category A, B, and C. So there's 3 categories, and you fence the same person or they're reserved for that age group. So you just fence 2 times, or the age group fence 2 times.
Oh, I see. So I didn't understand how the 30 point comes out. So which must be.
If Michelle and Jane weren't there, I would have been. They had to shout at me, "Right, you're on, you're first or second or whatever."
You toss a coin, so you're either A, B, or C, and that determines the order as to which age group the order's in.
Oh, I see.
So you toss a coin at the beginning, and then the first person chooses which age group goes first. The loser of the toss chooses which age group goes second, and that determines the order for the match.
Ah, I see. I believe I believe it's 9 balls and just only 3 points, but that's 27 is also not good.
Yeah, it used to be.
Europeans, all 3 fence the other 3, so everyone fences each other, like a normal senior team match.
But World Champion different system.
Yeah, for Worlds. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
You are trying to get your strongest, because it's relay, you are trying to get your best combination at the end, the person who can finish, and then obviously people who can keep you ahead in the middle.
It's almost beneficial to lose the toss so that you can engineer who goes last.
I see. So you're cheering, oh, you're just not win.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. So, okay, so because we are coming to the hour and a half, I appreciate we've gone. Has anybody got any questions in terms of what they have seen? Because we've got a last slide that Stuart produced, which I can email out with the recording of this. Any questions on our ramblings and our assumptions?
I'd just like to say one thing very briefly. Sue Benny once won a match for us because nobody had a coin or the system didn't work and they had to shuffle cards.
Yes, she watched the cards going round.
And she watched the cards and she knew where the cards were, and she won us that match because she was able to actually to make sure that our weakest fencer did not go last. And Sue Benny won that by that call. And
she also knew the rules when the Italians tried to sub somebody in when they were already on the piste and they hadn't given one fencer notice. So it really pays to have someone in the team that absolutely knows the rules to be able to question it.
Yeah.
And that's teamwork.
Yeah, that's also top performance.
Yeah.
Top performance is not only about what happens on the piste.
And it's what you were saying before about the videos. I didn't actually know that we had video queries. I was only bothered about the FA, which you don't really use it very much.
Nah, just foot hits, floor hits.
But it could have been useful for hits that might have been ambiguous off the side of the piste.
Yeah. But also you have to decide, do you want to keep it to use it, or do you want to use it at a vital time to try to break your opponent's momentum? Right?
I think that certainly for myself, I have no experience of fencing with videos calls. Yeah. And I would need training in when to call videos. And I think that might be another session.
Oh, okay. When to call video. Wow.
It is quite for Stuart and I to try and get these into a. Absolutely, I think they are the very important topics. They're definitely very important topics, and yeah, we'll try and build up a set of stuff hopefully. So your suggestions are always very valuable and in directing these sessions. But yeah, Sue Benny, just another. Sue's been an amazing orchestrator of victories for matches based on technicalities. One of my experiences, my first European Championships, we won that gold because she was aware, because they hadn't had the rules. We all lost a match to somebody. So all the top teams lost a match somewhere. But Sue counted up every single hit we had over across all matches. And we were 4 hits ahead above everybody else. So in the rules, it didn't say that we had to fence off. It was just based on the most points, I think, at the end, or the one with the most. And she said, and we did prompt David Sweeney, I must admit, because he was on the Directoire Technique again. Don't do playoffs. It's not in the rules. We don't have to. We have an outright winner, and that was us. I couldn't, because I was doing something stupid and I pulled my thigh muscle and I couldn't walk, so I couldn't play again anyhow. So that was shows how on the ball you have to be. But having Sue there taught me an awful lot on how on the ball you have to be.
And it was the French team who lost out that time, and Viv and I were sitting absolutely creased.
We just sat there dead quiet.
It was one of the best moments we've had, wasn't it?
4 hits. It just shows how 4 hits make the difference between bronze and gold and silver. We won the gold. I was so proud of being part of that.
As you can see, Viv is happily remembering.
Yeah, that was in Macedonia. That was. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to, because I've got Stuart's. I mean, if you've got that screen, Stuart, you can share it, but I've got it.
Yeah, of course I've got it, yeah.
So if you want to share that video analysis thing. So what Stuart and I have been doing over the past week is chatting to sort of go over our what points we wanted to draw out, and also looking at an awful lot of videos from the World Championships, because it's the most current thing we have. We can obviously go back in history, and I know Laszlo's quite keen to look at how the evolution of fencing has been, you know, crossover, all the different rule changes, which we have slightly touched on. Have you got it there, Stuart?
Yeah, just hold on a second. I just need to bring up, I'm going to bring it up in 2 pages.
Stuart pulled together a document which was observations from the matches and some recommendations, so highlighting technique, how to train in the salle. So, you know, if you can do your training at home. I know Stuart and I do a lot of work on our online. This is a bit of a sales job, by the way. Working on preparation and tactical combinations. So, but these are things you can do hopefully at home and when you get back to the salle, your clubs. Right. I can't sell. I feel awkward because Laszlo, he can't go back home. Laszlo's first home is banished from him.
All right, hold on, here we go.
So if Stuart talks through those things and then.
All right. I hope everyone can see the 2 pages that I have here.
Just the one.
I can only see one.
Top half.
You might have to scroll down.
Okay.
View to 2 pages, then we can see some.
It's on my page, on my screen, it's 2 pages, one next to each other.
No, it's only coming up as one.
It's
last line on mine is "must be patient."
Okay. Must be patient.
That's the last line. In other words, it's about the 10th point down.
Mine's keep hands up after attack.
I mean, I can try, and I can probably scroll on mine. I'll try on mine. So
I'll just do it. I'll just do it 1 page, Bethy. It's fine. I put it on 2 because I thought it was going to be easier for everyone to see it on 2. But oh, okay, you do it. It's all right. All right, go up. All right. So I've organized it into 3 sections. So the first section would be like the observations from the matches. So the first one is about understanding. So we've seen what happens if you don't understand the modern interpretation of refereeing. You're in big trouble, especially against someone who studies it. Okay, so you need to do that. How to understand when to use video appeals, when not to. Some of that, of course, is actually about the referee that you have. Some referees will never, ever, ever change their mind, even if you video it. In which case, you know you're using the video for a tactical break if you need it. Okay, and when to fix your hair, fix your contact lenses, fix your glasses, tie your shoelaces, fix your Alice band, your headband. I mean, whatever you need to do to get yourself some extra time, right? That's not unless you're being a fencer at a very high level. Not everyone is aware of what to do. Okay, sometimes you just need to break the match, even if you're just swearing at yourself when you walk off down the back of the piece. You can pretend swear at yourself and the referee will leave you alone for 10 or 15 seconds while you're angry, and then come back and let you get back on guard. Right? You can take that time to have a bit of a think. Right. In terms of technique, so this sort of more épée or K-saber bouncing, pushing attack. Okay, because when you're doing bouncing as opposed to stepping, you're storing the energy in your ligaments, right? So instead of using your muscles, you're just using the elasticity in your ligaments. So you're using less energy, and you're also not moving very far forward, right? If you want to know how to not move very far forward, talk to an épée, because that's what they do all day, right? So you're just pushing, waiting, waiting, hit. Okay, and you're not using much energy, just stay away. Okay, and when you're staying away like this, you can easily take one simple parry riposte because you're not actually concentrating on much. You're just focusing on your distance. So if their counterattack comes, you can easily take parry riposte. It's very easy. If someone is doing this bouncing against you, you need to do feint counterattack if you're going to do that kind of thing, or just keep your hand busy, right? Okay, active defense. So we saw a nice. Sorry. Are we okay? Mm-hmm. So active defense, right? So yes, I think I don't know, I don't have any numbers, but I think maybe your leg speed is, let's say, 50% of what it was when you were younger, maybe, but your hand speed is 95% of what it was when you were younger. So you need to find a way to keep yourself out of distance or to use your hand to your advantage, right? Because you've still got your speed for parry riposte and counterattacks. You just need to keep your body balanced so you can actually use your skills rather than trying to push hard and falling over and attacking early and swiping. So try to balance yourself. Okay. You saw some of the, as you're pushing out the middle, some of the hits on preparation. They're based on lunging, right? So they're a little bit slow. So as long as you're not pushing too hard, I think you're going to find you're going to be able to take parry riposte against them or fourth parry riposte against them. You saw the Germans actually getting two by accident. They're just walking forward and, oh, I've gotten it. Okay. But that's hand speed versus leg speed, right? That's the same. It just as you get older, the leg speed is going. Keep your hand up after you attack. So you can see there's a lot more sort of parrying and less lunging, right? One of the reasons that the attack is so powerful in the senior game is the lunge is so big. It just, people just come in and they're just hammering it around. And there's almost no way to stop it. In the veterans game, people don't have the same leg strength. So your parrying is actually, parrying becomes a more viable strategy, right? So I think you need to attack more with your fingers, less shoulder, less chopping, and just try to find the spot to hit. Okay? That way, if you're finishing with your fingers, you can change your target, you can make compound, and if you end up getting parried, well, you saw the Italians against the Germans, right? When they got parried, their distance was actually quite good for defense. So then they were able to set up and go back. Sometimes they got defensive action, sometimes not, but they always were able to get a defensive action, right? If you drop your hand below your hip when you lunge, if you just chop, your hand will go down, and when that person is smashing you over the back of the head, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so try not to do it. Okay, I think just bubble, and then come back. Okay, because again, the reason that these miss and then go are so powerful in the senior game is that people have so much leg power. They're back, they're balanced, and then they're just smashing you down. Okay, in the veterans game, you've got more time, looking, hit, they parry, okay, you go away. Okay, a little bit up, Betty, sorry. If you see someone chopping with their shoulder, okay, this gives you a chance. Once they've missed you, you can hit them. If you can drop them and they're chopping, you can hit onto the forearm, onto their shoulder, body or head. But shoulder's a good target. It's quite up here on the shoulder is quite a good target. It's quite close to you. And I hate describing this because it sounds like I'm being condescending, but the arm is attached to your body at the shoulder. They can't actually move it very far, right? If you go for the forearm, it can be pulled. If you're trying to hit someone in the shoulders, in the upper arm, they can't actually get it out the way so much. So it's actually quite a good target. If, on the other hand, you can't make people miss you, you're going to have to modify the way you take your parry ripostes. Okay? If you've just got to, again, I'm going to talk about veterans and losing bodily strength, but I'm sorry, it's true, you have to face it. But people haven't lost body mass. If that German guy was to trundle down the piece at me when I was 60 and smash through me, I wouldn't be able to take a beautiful parry and proper riposte. I just wouldn't physically be strong enough. But what I can do is block it and then lean my blade onto him. That I can do. And he can't do anything about it because his upper body is just smashing down through me. So I can block it and lean it on him, and I can hit him. But if I try to block it and lift my hand out the way, you're gonna get smashed right through the body, and you might not be able to get your riposte on. So you might find that you have to modify your riposte. Okay, that's something you're going to have to look at in other people's fighting and think about. But don't tell Laszlo I told you to make such non-classical horrible.
Well, I don't
riposte.
listen.
He won't be happy.
I don't listen to what you're saying. So.
Good. Because they're tactics that get you points, but are not proper fencing. But
right.
Okay, you have to.
The special needs something, sometimes figure out something.
Yeah. But
Not the ladies' game also.
Sometimes sometimes you just got to. If somebody's putting their upper body in their hip, you've got to find a way to get around it. That's life. Okay, training in the cell. What can we do to train ourselves better, right? Core strength, along with upper legs and hamstring strength, right? To hold you upright, right? So you're not just falling over. So you can make push hit, and if you miss, so you can get back. Okay. All right. And then especially for saber, we go down to various patterns and rhythms of preparation, right? So it's very important that you conserve your energy. So you don't want to be giving up the hip, not being able to support the middle, right? Not being able to, you don't want to go forward and then have to go back every time. We don't want to. What we want is to push and then push, hit. That's our ideal situation. You barely have to use any energy, right? But to do that, you have to be able to change your rhythms in your attacks, right? So preparation with double step. This is the classical version that lots of Bachi taught us, me and Beth. It's the basis of our system. You will have seen, if you go back to the Italian match, you'll have seen the 70+ version. What's his name? Camino? Is that the guy? His preparation, step jump. Okay.
Can I say, when you double step, try to not do same tempo. First should be a bit slow, second a bit faster, or maybe quick and slow. So have to change the rhythm, not just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just change the tempo.
That's right?
Change the rhythm.
Yeah.
Can I ask what is in K saber? I don't know what it means.
Korean saber.
A Korean saber.
Yeah. K-pop, K-saber.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's just
I learned something. Okay.
Yeah, you don't. Sorry, I'm not finished with the steps, mate.
Oh, so sorry.
With the preparation, Bethy. Okay, right. So the step jump, boom, boom. This is Chris Farron's system, if you know Chris, right? So this gives your attack a different rhythm. Referee can see step, go, bam, okay, or jump step, bam. Your opponent can see your jump is quick, and then you make a slow step, it's smooth. Or the glide step, the step and jump. I can't really describe it here, but people who've trained with me or Beth or Laszlo will know it. If not, I don't know. You can join one of our sessions and I can show you. Or you can look it up. You can go and buy Fencing in the Master, and you can read about it, how to do a slide step or a glide step. But it has a different rhythm.
It's cheaper to come on your classes.
Yeah, so stepping, boom, it gives it different rhythm. Allows you to make quick pair riposte or to put back out, okay, or the half back and step in. You saw Aaron Zalagi doing it. It's just if you want to change when you arrive in the middle because you want to confuse your opponent, you can try it. The Appel step in. One of the Italians in the men's saber does that one. He does like a little stamp with his front foot and steps in. Again, it just changes the rhythm you're arriving at. And the Korean saber one, it's more like you take a step in and then you bring your back foot. And as you bring your back foot, you can change where the back foot lands. If you need to lunge quick, you shorten your step and go. If you see your opponent going back, you bring your back foot up a long way and boom. You can easily just reach. Okay, so again, I'm sorry, but if you want a real explanation, I'm going to have to say, please come to our sessions. Then I can explain it while in my garage and I can actually show you the footwork. Okay, accuracy, smoothness, conservation of energy. Try not to launch your attack until the last second, right? Because you just want to push, hit gently, right? So try not to get excited like you're a young teenager and dash in with a big lunge, okay? Take it easy, push, waiting, hitting, okay? So to help with that, all your footwork should be small, accurate, efficient, right? Low to the ground, so don't lift your feet in great big, right? Try to keep your feet low, small steps, just easy. And even if your legs are straighter than they used to be, right? So your guard position is more like this rather than like this. Doesn't matter, right? Keep one in front of your center of gravity and one behind it, okay? And that way you can step forward or backwards. And once you've gone, you can come back up. Okay, so you can go in and out if you need, make counter repass and so on and so on. And this will allow you to, because your legs basically are a delivery system for your hand, right? As long as they're smooth, your hand can do its work. If your legs are everywhere, you can't hit with a point. That's the way it is, okay? Finishing with your fingers, yes. So try to control your saber with these fingers, and also people who are not from saber but are from fallen épée won't be so used to using the back three fingers, but they're actually very important in controlling your saber. Okay, so you need to be able to do dégage underneath and couper over the top. So you can do all of these things. All right. Okay, the next one is, right, I would say it's the Kung Fu Panda of my points here. It's like build a system with what you've got. Okay, for example, Chris. Sorry, hello, Chris. When Chris and I did some lessons, I just like do like this. It's like I can't do it. It's too painful. My knees won't do it. We can't go backwards like this. Okay, we changed our system. He misses. He makes immediate removes with block out. Why? Because it works for him. And he used to be an épée, so he's actually quite good at it. He has a good feeling for it. So there we go. We took out something he couldn't do and put in something he could. Brilliant. So you'll find that the stuff you can't do. And when I say it's peculiar to Chris, it's not. That's actually how Yakomenko fences. When he misses, he just one step, remise, boom, with block out. So you have to build a system that works for you. You can't just copy whatever you want, right? Because we can't do things. Sometimes that's the way it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah, are we done?
We're just on the game section.
Okay.
Learn and study up-to-date modern saber refereeing. Yes. Learn to fit breaks in when you need to focus. Yes, please do this. Learn to use your video appeals and when not to. You'll have to think about that or talk to other fencers. I suggest you find a lovely Italian fencer to talk to, because they're damn good at it. Really good at it. And work on your positive mindset. So we saw Sylvia losing her first hit and then gaining 3 back. She lost 1, gained 3. Positive mindset, didn't let her get it down. Now she's 3-1 up. If she let it get it down, she could be 3-1 down. That's terrible, right? You've got to be positive all the time. It's easier when your teammates are with you, but there we go.
So I hope you've enjoyed the session. It's really good getting some of your experiences out as well. And we're more than happy to come up with some radically new system for veterans fencing, because I think people ignore it, but it's a growing industry. It's getting bigger and bigger, so we can't, we have to be on top of our game all the time, I think, and that's why I was keen to do this session, because trying to train as seniors for veterans, it's not the same game. It's a very different game. It's not patronizing us, it's embracing us as veterans and all the quirks that we have, different weapons, different physicalities. I learned this a long time ago. If anybody's fenced Connie Adam, I was a naive 25-year-old, I think, and I met Connie at some random competition. I was doing épée, and I was at Leicester, I think, and I saw this elderly old lady who didn't move, just wandered onto piece, clipped herself on, and I said, "Oh, this should be easy." I was one of many scalps she had, and I learned to respect everybody after that. It was never assume that you can win, because once you've lost to somebody twice, 3 times your age, it's something you have to remember and learn from.